Swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive, and I swerve when I drive. And we're going to start saying F people. F Vlad for stirring the pot, his culture appropriating ass. Like, it's all his fault.
You disloyal, fool-ass, bitch-made punk.
This whole Booker T versus Swerve Strickland situation, it disgusts me. I absolutely dislike it because it's stupid. I vehemently disagree and agree with both parties on two different things. So that's what makes this situation so crazy. Like, whose house? Like, this should be an in-house conversation that we're having in public. And again, like, why are we doing this on Vlad? Like, I hate that. Anyway, so Swerve was on Vlad TV, and Swerve answered the question that Vlad had for him when Swerve said some time ago how he didn't feel like the WWE was representing black talent the way they should be and weren't valued the way they should be. And Booker T kind of counter or rebutted that and says he doesn't see what Swerve is talking about, doesn't agree. It feel like you got to put the work in, and if you are talented enough that you'll get where you need to go. And Swerve was like, no. He was like, Ed from Good Burger, no. I don't think that's the case. Like, you want to talk about fair, you want to talk about people being treated fairly, and it's a fair work environment. Then why was Vince McMahon saying the N-word right in front of you?
Goddamn, dog! You almost had that motherfucker, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Was that fair? So it goes from that to then Booker T responded to the Vlad interview about, hey, man, like, hey, you know, it's just entertainment, It ain't that deep. And at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? That's always been Booker T, though. Booker T's never done shoot interviews going in on Vince McMahon or WWE management or anything like that, or anything he's done. That's just not who Booker T is. And so Swerve then, after AEW Dynasty, a pay-per-view, decides to say F Booker T. And I'm like, well, that escalated quickly. I'm like, what? So I have thoughts. First of all, Booker T, you are absolutely wrong. For Booker T to say out his brain that black wrestlers, or him specifically, hasn't been treated unfairly is insane. Booker T, I just did a video on the storyline between him and Triple H, where Triple H, a white man, literally in your face said that with your nappy hair and your suckers and your shucking and jiving and your dancing, people like you don't become world champion. And then what happened? You lost. One of the most talented in-ring performers and personalities of all time, and was not utilized fairly at all. That's just one instance, by the way. I could also bring up the instance to where you went against an Olympic gold medalist, multi-time world champion, a guy who just had match of the year, possibly match of the century, versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. The same WrestleMania where you didn't even wrestle at because you was on a pre-show. Booker T in 05. This same Booker T faced Kurt Angle, who just had a match of the year and possibly one of the greatest matches of all time versus Shawn Michaels, about who's the best in-ring performer. Kurt Angle went from that to telling Booker T, hey, I want to have
bestiality sex with your wife.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it.
What? Kurt Angle, my nigga. Kurt Angle? Why wasn't the feud between Kurt and Booker T the same thing to where they want to find out who's the best in-ring performer? Why did it go from, I want to see who's the best in the ring, to, I want to have sex with your wife and beat it up bad? Bestiality sex. I don't think Kurt Angle ever said to Triple H, hey, I want to have bestiality sex with your wife, Stephanie. I don't think he was ever told Vince McMahon, hey, I want to have bestiality sex with Linda. I don't think he would ever did that. Why with you, that all of a sudden that was in the script that day, that he want to have bestiality sex with a black woman? Why you think that is? Then, after that, the whole N-word incident where Vince McMahon tells John Cena what's up, my nigga, because it's the whole thing to where John Cena thinks he's black and now Vince thinks he's black. It's supposed to be this whole comedy thing, and then Booker T calls it out for being stupid by saying he didn't just say that.
He didn't just say that.
Again, how is that fair? It isn't fair. You wanna know why? Because you think any Asians ever had a segment on WWE television being called the C word? You think any women were on television being called a C-U-N-T? You think any Jewish people on WWE television being called the K word? You think any gay people on television being called the F word? No, just us, because hey, it's comedy, it's funny. Ha ha. So no, Booker T, you weren't treated fair. And just because you endured certain things, and I understand it, because you're worried about keeping your spot, you're worried about saying no, so you go along to get along, and that's a very old school mentality that a lot of folks have, not just in wrestling, but in life. A lot of old folks from like the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s had a very go along to get along mentality. And you know what? I'm always going to respect the OGs, the elders, for paving the way for us so that we had alternatives and options to where we can say, F that, right? Because that's what Swerve did. Swerve said, F WWE. I'm going to AEW. I'm going to bet on myself and become one of the biggest stars in wrestling. And he did that. Yeah, Booker T had to endure a lot, grinded his ass off to eventually become King Booker, a world champion and respected as such. Hall of Famer, all that. But just because Swerve would have possibly done the same thing doesn't erase the fact of why was Booker T put in that position to begin with. A lot of people are arguing the wrong things. Well, if Swerve would have been there at the same time, he would have did it. Why would he have to do it? A lot of people in that company did a lot of uncomfortable things they didn't want to do. That's the conversation we should be having. But getting back to the whole race thing and black thing, it is a black thing. There's a lot of black folk that were talented. MVP, Sean, but I did a whole video. Farouk, there were so many people that were talented and never got an opportunity to prove that they can be world championship material, man. A lot of them. Now, has it gotten better since the 80s, 90s, 2000s? Yes, it has. Absolutely. Bianca Belair is one of the faces of the WWE. Not female faces, the faces of the WWE. Naomi and Jade are having a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, the first females non-title match, one-on-one match they're having at WrestleMania. Things are getting better. New Day, for a long time, was one of the faces of WWE. An all-black faction that could be nerds, that can be cool, be all that. I have no negative things to say about how we have evolved. We have gotten better. WWE has gotten better. But we still can bring awareness that it can still be better. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So I'm with Swerve when he's saying things could be better. We could be represented better. Why aren't we on PLEs? Why aren't we world champions? The problem I have with Swerve is him saying F Booker T after a pay-per-view when you at the end of one of the worst pay-per-view endings in your company's history, the first thing on your mind is saying F to a Hall of Famer, a legend, a Booker T who paved the way for you to be who you are, how you look, how you act, what you do. That's crazy to me. It's a contradictory. You can't in one breath talk about how we're not valued enough and how we're not being respected enough, and then you disrespect them. You're literally going against your own argument, my nigga. What are you doing? I hate that. That was stupid. Booker T said to himself, like, bro, the last thing that people should be talking about after a pay-per-view for AEW is me. You're doing something wrong. If you're going to say F somebody, say F the Young Bucks, F the Elite, F the Death Riders, F AEW, or something that brings attention to your company. not to an outside entity that we all know works for WWE. That's not smart. Like, and I don't understand where Swerve is coming from. Y'all can have a disagreement or agree to disagree. You said in the Vlad interview, y'all were friends. Call him. What are we doing? And Booker T this whole time has been classy, has been professional, never called you out your name. Like, Swerve, come on, dog. Are you swerving when you're driving? Like, what's happening, bruh? You gotta be better than that, dog. I thought you were way more mature than that. What you did at the end of AEW Dynasty, I never thought you would be that. That was a lack of maturity and professionalism that I didn't expect from you. You gotta be better than that. I don't know if y'all working an angle. I don't think that's the case. You just gotta be smarter than that, dog. You're better than that. I agree with your point and what you're saying, but at the same time, you still gotta. You are literally going against your own argument and being hypocritical when you're disrespecting and not valuing the legends and the black wrestlers that come before you, like a Booker T, by calling him out his name and saying F him in front of a whole crowd. Well, not in front of a whole crowd because it is an AEW pay-per-view. But still, come on, man. That's crazy. So, yeah, I like that Booker T this whole time has kept it classy, ain't, never went crazy on Swerve. It's just like, bro, little young buck, youngin', come on, bro. You gotta be better, dog. And Swerve, I like that he called out Booker T and say, no, we could be represented better still. There are talent in this company, in WWE, that could be promoted better. So it's a difference of opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the Malcolm X, MLK debate of how you approach certain situations. But at the same time, it's all one goal. And that is for us just to flourish and have the opportunities to prove that we can be at the top of the mountain. That's all it is. Just have a difference of how to get there. So I just think I'm very disappointed in Booker T and the rhetoric he said about it not being unfair and how, if you work hard, you get there. It's like, come on, my nigga, like, stop it. Bobby Lashley is one of the best competitors we've seen, and Triple H act like he doesn't even know how to book a Bobby Lashley. Like, come on, my nigga, like, stop it. But at the same time, I completely disagree with Swerve disrespecting Booker T like that. So it just, I get it. I just wish it was a phone call instead of something that happened online. WrestleMania is next week, so this will be over. This is probably already over, but I had to speak on it. It was bothering me. Let me know how you think, what you feel. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the things of the things. Welcome to the Hot Bitch. There's Sage Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. And if not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.